best Web3 tools for gaming, marketing, and community building.
Our final panel today is going to be discussing the best Web3 tools for gaming, marketing, and community building. So we'll get that put up on screen.
The best Web3 tools for gaming, marketing, and community building.
Fabulous. Okay, so let me invite to stage Gabriel Boni, the founder of Douse. We have Vinícius Moraes de Carvalho, the investment partner at Ikigai Ventures. And we have Neto, the head of Latin America at Uplandme. And we have myself as the moderator. So I will take this seat. Let's make sure everyone's got their microphones. Has everyone got a microphone over here? Is Vinny in the house? Have we got Vinny? Here he is. Vinny is in the house. Perfect. So we have actually very different perspectives on the stage as well, which is awesome. When I'm talking about diversity in the space, I think hello, Vinny? Yes, having a very different perspective on stage is also a big part of that. So guys, why don't you just introduce yourselves to our amazing audience today?
Yes, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody. My name is Ney. I'm the head in Latin America for Uplandme. Uplandme is a metaverse on blockchain, and it was founded by a German and an Israeli guys, but the company is based out of Mountain View in California, so it's at the Silicon Valley, and it's a very popular game in Brazil, right? We have some of our big TV stars like Débora Seco and other celebrities that are participating in the game economy, and that became huge, popular in the country.
Amazing. And Vinny, why don't you introduce
Hi,
yourself?
my name is Vinícius. I'm the head of corporate development at Sigma, and I also an investment partner at our fund, Ikigai Ventures. And that's basically about it.
Amazing. We're going to discover more anyway. And Gabriel?
Hey Lilly, hey guys, how is everyone? So I'm Gabriel Boni, everyone calls me Boni. In the pandemics, we brought X Infinity to Brazil and supported like 29,000 families with Play to Earn. Since that, we are tokenizing, gamifying, and creating a new ecosystem globally. And we believe a lot in Brazil with 200 million people interested in new types of lifestyle. And today we are making an FPS game with a stable coin in the ecosystem as well, trying to make a more long life to this, and we are also tokenizing royalties of music and everything that's possible, since payment gateways to everything. We are here to connect. So.
Wow, very diverse. So something I want to highlight first of all is we're mentioning community building, and I hosted a panel a while ago now, and actually one of the panelists highlighted that the most successful community in our industry, right, is the Bitcoin community, and no one even really knows who founded that particularly. There's not a figurehead behind it. But yet all we constantly remind ourselves in this industry is community is key. You have to have a big engagement with a community, when actually the largest part of our community has no figurehead. There is no person controlling that community. But then, in my opinion, I kind of looked at it perspective, but actually the community itself caters for that. It has its own figureheads because people now are starting to utilize layer 2 ordinals. We're building together this community, and that's the best way probably to achieve a community, is have different people involved, different perspectives. That's why DAOs work so well. But in terms of building communities, why do you guys think it's so important in our space? So let's start with Ney, and then we'll work down.
Well, I think the nature of a Web3 game, for example, in my case, it's already community, right? It's just like X Infinity. So you have a bunch of guys that love your game. They're there because they want to grow their portfolios. They want to be successful in game. So it's it's like a good chance for us as developers and builders to have a tokenized community. Then what we are seeing now, it's like we can even niche these communities either more, because then suddenly we have a musician that comes into the game and drop a collection of NFTs, and now we have among our community a very niche sub-community of fans of that specific singer, for example. Then we brought Mangueira, which is a Brazilian samba school, into the game. And now we have a lot of samba and carnival fans also forming a sub-community. So I think the most we can create those sub-niches into a very big community, the more intense the engagement is. So we're seeing now happen with Speedway Sports. We just brought the stock car into the game with a very beautiful drop of NFTs and replicas of the cars, drivers, suits. So it's very, very cool to see. And then suddenly we have a lot of speed motor fans engaging into the game. So I think that's a sense. Like if you have a community already tokenized, start to niche and identify the sub-communities. You've mentioned like the ordinals, for example. That is just happening now with the runes and the launching of the rune stones by Leonidas. Then we suddenly see that out of the Bitcoin community, we now have the runestone community. We now have the ordinals community. So I think that is a movement.
So it's tapping into different communities and then establishing new ones as well on top of that. So creating new opportunities as well.
Yeah.
And Vinny, in terms of when you come to invest in a company, how key is community when you're analyzing, potential investment for that company?
So I think you can split this in two, I would say. First of all, what I look for is mainly something that is built organically, is built out of the value that that particular tool or that particular community is providing to the other members, rather than what is often the case in Web3 and crypto, where you somewhat buy the community. You buy the influencers and you go into this almost pump and dump scheme, in a sense, that is the go-to marketing strategy for several companies. And that, I think, we are still yet to find another way around that. A lot of companies that I speak to on Web3 or crypto, where they go to market to create communities, I hired or I bought a whole bunch of influencers that are going to pump this on Instagram and TikTok. And we know that this is not sustainable. We know that they are the first ones that are going to vest their period, so they're going to dump before everyone else. And that not only affects the investment itself, but affects the other part of the community that actually believe the project. Because their value is going to go so down that they are not going to be engaged anymore. So yeah, I think that's the most relevant aspect that I look for. Like, how organic did you build this? That if you built a strong organic community, that says a lot about your product, and that says a lot about the strategy behind your go-to-market strategy.
Yeah, I think the key thing you said there is actually sustainability. And I think now it's really been highlighted in our industry that it's not only building that community, it's keeping them engaged. And that's why gamification is so important, because it actually constantly engages your audience and gives them gratification, and not just monetary gratification, which most of the influencers in the space might be looking for. It's actually your community just enjoys being part of it. And for you, Gabriel, in terms of the music industry, how can that incorporate into community?
It's crazy because I played in Stock Car this weekend, and it's a big physical community, and it's crazy how this can spin off. I was in an immersion in Silicon Valley, and in one side we have the team, right? The developers, the executives, the C-level that gonna decide what we can bring to community with a raise that's made by investors, by the community. So it's a big responsibility. And what we find, how make this sustainable, it's education, basically. And education for a new tech, education for a new way of have power, because it gives you a lot of freedom, but it can mess up your life if you don't know what to do with your team in a side, with a community in the other side. What's the tools we use for that? Basically, Discord and the SpaceX daily, where we are living this, and it's really interesting how people's life can change with this new lifestyle with decentralized community. Because if done right, it's a new level, and that's why I'm passionate. I think you guys are passionate also. But it really can be a pump and dump feeling with influencers and all that. So once you take attention, you're gonna have life tests in a Web3 way, and I'm living that every day. So need to be really clever and humble at the same time. But basically, Discord, the SpaceX, Telegram, all the kind of go-to-market tools we're gonna use, of course. But what counts in the end of the day, it's how the team and the community put energy inside that to make a decentralized governance. What can be really beautiful, but in 99% of case, it's a mess.
Yeah, very interesting you said lifestyle as well, because I really do believe in this industry, it's almost like it's a lifestyle choice. Once you're in it, you are locked in and you're always keen to hear what's coming next. And in terms of marketing, now let's have a little look at that. So for you, Nate, at Upland, Metaverse has had some ups and downs in how people perceive it. So how have you chosen to market it in a more positive way?
Yeah, we had our hype cycle, right? And then everything shifted to AI for a moment, and then nobody else was talking about metaverses. But we were just there building. We never stopped, right? We were just there every day building with resilience and building the community and engaging more and more people. So now we're kind of back to the narratives, because gamify is one of the top narratives for this next cycle. So we're very bullish on it. But yes, it's quite hard. I'll get to Boni's point. It's all about onboarding and education. So in our case, it's easy because the way we do, it's account abstraction. So a person just starting the game don't need to have a MetaMask or decentralized wallet. If it does, it's fine. You can just integrate. But if not, then we have this possibility of onboarding people just through the email address. So that helped, especially in Brazil, to get more users, right, active users. But I think to your question, that now we're seeing the airdrop moment, right? Airdrop is a tool to engage a community since you are testing things. We had the Pixels airdrop, very successful, that the running people has done. Ours is also going on. We're in the middle of the chapter. So that's something that resonates with the community. They like, they engage, they share. And Boni was mentioning some tools for you guys that are planning some community engagement. I would also recommend checking Zilli, Gleam.io. Yeah, those that are gamified points platforms, software as a service, that you can just pay a license and start doing your own campaign and reward your community. Also, a nice tip is that X has an API that you can create your own pointing system integrating to the X API. So once you have your community doing social fight tasks like sharing, creating original content, you reward them back in points that later can be converted into tokens. That's what Pixels did.
We use that in IgG, and Discord has the same feature too.
Super cool.
So we can attach everything, even put your wallet inside Discord and have a payment integration project like we did in Axie. And it's really nice you to mention running, because they are being like the big birth for all the games. So inside the Discord, you have from A to Z, all the games working together, talking about this together. So like in the electronic music in the old days, there is a new movement really solid growing that will integrate in the biggest companies of the world. The best example is Samsung and Epic Games now investing wide the world. So there's a lot happening. Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's great. And Vinny, in terms for you, when you're seeing all of these incredible startups and new businesses coming to you, what kind of strategy do you try and incorporate in terms of marketing?
Again, I'm a big fan of what you build organically rather than buying. I think a lot of people don't realize, and that goes also for companies that are outside of Web3, that you start and you fine-tune your marketing strategy. You're gonna have your customer acquisition cost is gonna be, let's say, at a certain level. When you fine-tune it, you expect that that level is gonna remain the same, but with constant changes on the algorithm, constant changes on your competitor, that CAC will go up. It's usually a curve like this. It's not something, not a trajectory that flats line. To give a parallel with the company that is organizing this event, I think about 10 years ago, that's when Sigma started. And it started as a small expo in Malta. And it provides so much value throughout the years for the players in the industry that right now just runs organically. It's just everywhere that we go, our community somewhat follows. Our community is the companies behind all those stands, and so they somewhat follow because they see the value that we are providing. And that it requires us to have a more organic strategy as to build those relationships, as to create value for every single one of those players, up to the point that right now we run 6 events throughout the world, sometimes even 8 in a year. So yeah, that organic part, I think that's the best way that you can lower this customer acquisition cost, and is also the best way that you're gonna keep your users engaged, because they already fell in love with what you're doing. So unless you, sorry, pardon my French, unless you really fuck up, they will follow you and they will grant you, let's say, some guarantees, or they will grant you some confidence that you're gonna keep doing the same.
Yeah, you need to engage them, and then once you've got them, keep things exciting, make things fun, fresh for them. And I think, as we were saying earlier, gamification is definitely a huge part of that as well in our industry. And in terms of taking people from Web 2 into Web 3, how can we encourage them to make this transition? How can businesses be encouraged to move from Web 2 more into Web 3?
Yeah, that's what was exactly what I'm thinking now, because we are building on top of Web 2, right? So we can use all the tools for example, the launch formula of Hotmart, to people get interest to be on a live that we're gonna talk about this. But once you connect to people, it's really important to give power to them. And this empower can be by Z-League, can be by the members, can be by any kind of gamifying platform that can be on Web 2 or Web 3, since we are going to somewhere. So we made with Crypto.com Syntopia, that was top 1 NFT collection, and now it's being sold in Amazon, the book of Syntopia, that is Web 350 dimension world, where the community is writing the books together. So sometimes this looks so silly, but for someone who maybe is with their kids going out of home, and they have like 50 years old, and they are in Philippines, and they have like a really stable life, when you connect to this Generation Z, or a D generation can be as well, maybe this is the mental health move that you were looking for, and that would be impossible in your country, because you can't be this little kid talking about futuristic stuff or Dune anymore. But you can do this in space with a voice of AI just being Count Dracula, maybe. So this is really nice. You can be whoever you want to be. And this is the real market, when people start to live something that's cool. That's not more about the money. It's about the crew. And people are entering these spaces to feel in family, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's actually something that's really is exciting, is the idea of the avatars being able to interact, and it just takes things to a whole new dimension. I mean, the days of like chat rooms and just things seeming archaic, it's so exciting that people can actually discuss topics and really feel like they have their friend support, global, international support, just through a platform. And for you, Nay, how do you feel like moving from Web 2 to Web 3? Why is this so exciting? Why is this going to be so huge for so many businesses out there?
Well, first thing, I think is important to stick to that Web 3. It's not replacing Web 2. It's just a new layer of features and things you can integrate into any application or something your company is doing. Then to the avatars and this migration in the way people are interacting with machines, with computers. I think it was 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, myself and this guy here, Heitor, who was in the previous panel, we did an investment in a company that is a celebrity avatar agency. So it's a very fancy studio, and we created the avatars for Sabrina Sato, Deborah Seco, and other TV stars. So these avatars, they have their own AI, and they interact with people in real time. So they're helping brands to communicate and iterate with people in real time. You cannot have like Sabrina Sato full day talking to your customers, right? But her avatar can. So that's pointing a change in the way consumers interact with AIs. The more humanized we can do it, we're seeing the better results in retention, in conversion, in sales. So we're very bullish in this business is doing very well. It's not the Upland agenda, but it's a company that we're happy to have invested into. We see that's the future. Like in 2030, you will have definitely an AI avatar that is doing sales on social media, not anymore a big TV star influencer, but really a computer graphic image generated by AI.
Yeah, it's definitely important now that businesses really think outside of the box and really embrace technology, realize that we are in a fresh, new digital age, and it's actually looking at it from a different perspective and thinking, yes, that's what I want to do with my business because that's going to make my business better. And I think it can go across the board in so many different businesses, I think, from retail to music as well. I think it's so key. But you have to open your mind, open your horizons, and not battle against it, but incorporate it.
Yeah, also the smart contracts are developing. So in blockchain now, we are talking a lot of the ERC 6551. So this is a token-bound account where we can put a wallet inside the NFT, and with AI, we can also making trading bots with own custody. So all the market's gonna shift again. So it's crazy what we can do now fusing AI, fusing wallets, and this is inside your player. So this is crazy.
Yeah, it does. It blows my mind. I think it's always like, watch this space, because we know next year on stage, if we're having this discussion, there's going to be a hot new topic. It's staying on top of that. And as we're saying, just be adjustable. Realize that the industry is always changing and just stay on top of it. Well, our time is up. And as I'm usually in charge of time, I probably should say that's probably the end of our amazing panel. But thank you so much, guys, for this amazing insight. I really appreciate it. Round of applause,
Thank you, Lilly.
everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Nice.